Good morning. Today we are continuing with our fractions. We talked last week about on PO15 about comparing them, the least and the greatest, looking at are we making our denominators, are we simplifying down, are we comparing the 0, half, 1, or do we have to make common denominators? So we're going to continue working with those fractions, but today we are doing PO16. Adding and subtracting the fractions. So we're working on doing a little bit more of the math with the adding and subtracting. So imagine for a moment that you are a zookeeper. I know it's a stretch, just bear with me. Your zoo has recently gained a bunch of animals from a nearby zoo that closed. Would you add lions to the pandas exhibit? No, because the lions are going to attack the pandas. Would you add gorillas to the penguins? No, the penguins live where it's cold, the gorillas do not. Would you add tropical fish to the giraffes?
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
That'd be great.
The same logic can be applied to adding denominators of fractions. They have to be the same. We're not going to put lions with the pandas. Okay, when we're adding or subtracting, those denominators cannot be different. We don't want to add different animals. We're not going to add different denominators. So when adding or subtracting fractions, there are two basic rules to follow. All right, our first rule is denominators have to be the same. Denominators have to be the same. If they're not the same, you have to make them the same, either by simplifying or by finding that common multiple that you can multiply up to. Number two, denominators stay the same. So your answer, the denominators will stay the same. You're not adding denominators together. If your denominator is 15 plus a denominator of 15, in your answer, that denominator is going to be 15. So that denominator stays the same for your answer. So think of the denominator as telling you what you have, and the numerator telling you how many you have. Would 2 chairs plus 3 tables be 5 tables? Yeah, that's just silly. We don't know what a table is. No, just like 2 sevenths plus 3 ninths would not equal 5 sixteenths. What mistake did they make here? 2 sevenths plus 3 ninths equals 5 sixteenths. What mistake is there, Isabel? If we don't have the same denominator, we cannot just add them together. You have to follow rule number 1, make the denominators the same. Find that common multiple. And remember, whatever we do to the denominator, we have to do to the numerator. Then you can add or subtract them, and that denominator stays the same. We do not add the denominator together. It stays the same. So let's look at our work for today. Our first row is a little bit easier. You'll notice we have common denominators already. Okay, so if I have 1/5 plus 3/5, what does that equal? 4/5. Am I done?
No.
Who said no? Why am I not done? We don't have to simplify it. It's already as simple as it goes. So that was an easy one. But you always have to check and see, can I simplify my answer? can I go smaller? It's not just adding the numerators. Your denominator stays the same. Done. You always have to check, can I simplify? 4/5, they don't share any common factors. So it's as simple as it gets. Let's check 1/3 plus 2/5. What do I have to do? If I'm going to add 1/3 plus 2/5, what do I do, Nora? So what would be a common denominator of 3 and 5, Nolan? 15. So notice how I am writing it over. Very important that I write my operation again. We are doing both adding and subtracting. Always double check what operation you're doing. Super easy to accidentally do the wrong operation. Then you get it wrong on the test. So I know my common denominator is 15. What did I do to go from 3 to 15, Nolan? I times it by 5. So whatever I do to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator. 5 times 1 is 5. What did I do to my 5 to get to 15? A and B? Multiply by 3. So whatever I do to my denominator, I do to my numerator. 2 times 3 is 6. Now I can add them. 5 plus 6 is 11. 15 and 15 stays 15. Denominator stays the same. Can I simplify it? No, the biggest factor they share is 1. 11/15 is as small as it gets. I do need you to show your work. Show me how you're getting your answer. We do not get any gold stars for mental math. Show me your work. Okay, always show your work. Always, always, always check, can I simplify it? If the directions say simplify your answers and you don't, you will get it wrong on the test. If it says simplify, you have to simplify. And then we have some questions at the bottom. Shh. Make sure you answer the questions at the bottom. What two fractions with different denominators add to be 9/20? Ooh, we have to think about that. You have to come up with two fractions that if you give them a common denominator of 20, it would add to be 9/20, or subtracting to be 9/20. You are going to come up with your own fractions. They cannot both have the same denominator. You can't say 4/20 plus 5/20 equals 9/20 because they have to be different denominators. So you're going to have to work that through. Think it through. What two fractions, when I give them the common denominator of 20, will add to be 9/20 or subtract to be 9/20? Do we have any questions on this assignment? All right, for my friends at home, we hope you are well, and we hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.